some big news that just came down. A press release from the Denver Broncos. They have announced their newest inductee, their newest honoree in the Ring of Fame, and it will be Broncos owner Pat Bowlen. He'll be going into the Ring of Fame.
So what do you think?
Well deserved. I mean, no brainer. And look, let's face it, guys. They want to do this while Pat is still around to receive the honor.
But let me say something, and I can't imagine I'm going to be the only one that is thinking this, so I'll be the first one out there to say it. They should have done this years ago, because we all know what Pat Bowlen is dealing with. And how much will he really get a chance to enjoy this honor? I'm not trying to sound like I'm being a jerk about this, but he's not going to be able to truly embrace this moment. And the people who are voting for this should have realized this when they saw he was in failing health.
Well, let me address several issues. Pat Bowlen was the Ring of Fame. I was on the original committee and was on it for several years. And there was the guy, Goldberg, remember that? He was president of the fan club.
The Broncos Touchdown Club?
Yeah, he's the one who actually brought Orange Sunday to town. He was a fan. He was on the committee representing the fans. Larry Zimmer represented, as the play-by-play guy, represented the radio TV media. I represented the written media. And Jim Sakamoto represented the Broncos, but didn't have much of a vote. To be honest, he didn't vote. He just advised about stats and things like that. And Pat Bowlen presided over the Ring of Fame. It had existed before in the early days, and it was kind of haphazard. Whoever the Phipps brothers wanted to put in there, whoever, you'll remember Fred Gerke, the general manager.
Yeah.
Gerke was known for the first guy to put anything on the helmets. He created
Decals,
a ram. Yeah. He painted a ram on the Los Angeles Rams. So it had existed for a while, but this was the first official committee, and they had put everybody on there. I mean, if you played here for longer than 3 years, and an example, and he was a very good quarterback, but not when he came here, was Charlie Johnson. Charlie Johnson played here about two and a half, 3 years on really bad knees.
And had a losing record.
Yeah. He's all there, and you can go through there. And at one point, Pat said in the committee, I don't want to put any more of the old guys. We got so many of the old guys up there. And I said, well, there's a guy up there. I'm going to say it. There's a guy up there that is a kicker. Let's take him down and put someone in his place. Yeah, revealing it today. I wanted to put Rick Upchurch in, Dan Reeves. So this was after the Dan Reeves era. We were voting during that, but after Dan got, and I thought Red Miller should be considered, and people would say, well, he didn't coach here very long, but he took him first Super Bowl. I also wanted to put Steve Watson, I thought, should be considered. I thought that Riley Odoms was the best tight end up until that time in the Broncos history. And what I found out is it was just a rubber stamp committee, that they'd have a vote and it would be 4-1 on whoever Pat wanted in. And
but Woody, why did this take so long for Pat Bowlen?
Okay, in regard to Pat Bowlen, there was a cover-up going on for years that Pat Bowlen was deteriorating.
Right.
And I'll tell you something you don't know. Pat Bowlen is at home. I know exactly where it is, and I wanted to go visit him and say hello and tell him how much I cared about him, but he's reached the point. I was at a dinner, and you probably were a couple of years ago. Larry Meisel gives an award every year for the Meisel
Community Award.
Oh, it's time for the Norway charge. The Norwegians are going to invade. They gave Pat Bowlen, gave Pat Bowlen the Citizenship Award that year, Leadership Award, and he was unable to say anything. So, are they trying to do it before, while he can still recognize it? No, he's in a situation where it's pretty serious now. I mean, I've been told by people within the Broncos that it's a person within the Broncos that he's not in a position to really understand if they won the Super Bowl.
You're right. It comes 2 or 3 years too late, at least. But at least it's come, and he deserves to be up there. And frankly, he deserves to be in Canton as well for what he's done. For what he's done as an owner in this league, possibly the most successful owner probably the most successful owner over the last
Yeah.
31 years,
from
1984.
84
Yeah.
till now.
They've had
he's
five
still
losing.
the owner.
They've only had 5 losing seasons in his 31 years as the owner.
Let me ask
And he was willing to write checks.
Five
and
Super Bowls, and one before
he made
got
some
here.
great hires, and people like Shanahan and Elway. And when he didn't make a good hire, people like Wade Phillips as the head coach, Josh McDaniels, he was willing to get rid of them very quickly. Great owner.
Did his name ever come up and he found out about it and said, no, I'd rather put in players, or his name didn't come up at all?
No, as long as he was in good shape and running the team, there was never any talk of it.
And I can tell you what has happened the last few years. Up until this last year, Pat wanted members of the Super Bowl winning teams up in the Ring of Fame. And he wanted them to go in one after another after another. So in some respects, you might say
Well, it would have been everybody.
he was neglected because he wanted to get those players in first and foremost.
He wasn't neglected because he would not have accepted that while he was still in command. And then there was a question that they didn't want people. Why are we honoring him? He's not left. He's not, he's not going somewhere because, we go back to the interview I had with him in 2009 when I said to him, and this is how it all started. I said to him, think about that, 2009, 6 years ago. And I said, how are you doing, Pat? Knowing I'd heard some of the rumors. And he said, I have short-term memory loss. And that's what started all the talk then, because I asked him, he said, I don't really remember too much about the 2 winning Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. And so he was beginning to suffer from dementia, Alzheimer's, early Alzheimer's disease. His mother died as a result of it. And you go, you don't die of Alzheimer's. Well, you die as a result of what happens during Alzheimer's, that you don't eat, you don't exercise, you don't participate in anything, you lie in bed a lot. I'm glad they're doing it now. While he might be able to recognize it, but I'm also glad that they didn't wait until he died.
Yeah.
But it will honor the family more than it will honor Pat Bowlen.
Right.
I hope that he's able to recognize what's going on.
Hope that he'll be able to go.
First segment brought to you by the
Probably
Harmony
not.
Foundation. It's Colorado's premier treatment program for drug and alcohol addiction, located just outside of Estes Park, a very nice private 45-acre mountain campus. It is insurance friendly, so if you feel the need or you know somebody else who might have the need, send everybody to harmonyfoundationinc.com.